David Gom in the stained glass studio, and this video is an advanced instruction video on how to cut the border for a window without having to use pattern pieces. Now, it is a bit of an advanced project. This is something that I wouldn't encourage beginners to do because you need to be pretty precise. However, it's good information, and if you ever have a lot of windows to do, this will be great for you. These windows that I'm doing are different because we're not using pattern pieces to lay out our pieces. So instead of pattern pieces, you just need a ruler. Now over here are some that I've already done the first step for. Now on this particular window, I only need one copy of the window, and so I've only cut out one of the strips here. And you see I've got the strip cut for the size for this panel. Now on this panel, I need two of them, and so I have cut out both, and I'm just laying them out right now to be ready to get them get all the parts cut out, and then we'll be able to move on to the foiling portion of it. Now over here I've got some patterns, and I need 2, 2, and 1. So the first thing I do is I measure, and I find that this from here to here is 1.5 inches. Now I also know that when I drew this out, this is 1.5, and so are these corner pieces. So I'm doing a border, and I have taken this strip cutter and I've set it for 1.5, and then I moved it in just a fraction less than 1.5 so that I have that little bit of wiggle room. Now I want to be cautious. I don't want too much wiggle room, otherwise I'm going to end up with big fat ugly joints, and I'll use a whole lot more solder. So I want to be careful on that. But these are advanced techniques, and you only do this when you're an advanced user, so I have confidence in you. So next thing I'm going to do, now I've got this set for my width. I just ran out of my first sheet of corded glass. And so I'm going to get another sheet of corded. This is a design that we've done frequently for a particular designer, and so it's very familiar with us. The corded glass goes all the way around the window, and then on the interior of the window we're using antique glass and beveled diamonds. And so we'll get to that in just a minute. Now I keep this particular T-square cutter set to this width, and I never change it throughout the process of cutting all these windows out because I don't want there to be a variation. I want every one to be the same. And so this is not an advanced technique. This is just something that we always do. You smear a little bit of oil. Now, as I place my cutter, I'm using my right hand to kind of pull against this stop on the table, and I use my left hand to push down, and I do have to use some force because this particular blade, it's not quite as sharp, and so it takes a little bit more. So I can just cut several of these. I think I'll cut 4. I have these piles of scrap set aside because I know that I can use them for cutting corners, and I can also, if I have any that are long enough, I can use them for the vertical pieces in the panel. Okay. So there they are. There's 4 strips. All right, now I want to cut them to length. Now remember, this one is going to have, I'm making 2 panels, so I need a top one and a bottom one. So here's how I set it all working. I lay this edge on the interior, and then I mark the interior here. Now what I'm going to do is set my cutter just so that I can cut that mark off, and that'll give me just the right amount of wiggle room that I want. Now you see, I can't set my cutter to do a piece this long because it's only a 12-inch cutter. However, I can set the cutter to take off the amount of scrap that I want, and I know that this is the one that I'm going to use frequently. You see, I've got my wheel set to the edge of that mark. Now this is a little trickier because you can smear it on, but now you have to kind of, you cut each one sort of separately, and you notice that I was pushing against the stop as well as pushing down. Okay, and then these are the first ones, the first pieces that I've cut that were actually long enough to be able to make edge pieces. I've already set this square for the correct length. Let's hope. This one's got a little tip that's kind of crooked, and so I'm putting it on the end so that they all can line up with each other, and then that'll just get cut off. So here we go. This is when having these lines on the workbench is very helpful, so I know I can get my glass lined up perpendicular to the strip. Here we go. Now isn't this great? This is the way you want to do commercial glass. These are, I think we've got about 17 panels for kitchen cabinet doors. Okay, so now that I've got that, now I can take my width cutter. Now these are real close to the right size, but I've got so much of this glass scrap. I'm just going to take these long ones. Now this one right here might need to be ground. Now the thing about this technique is that you end up with the glass in the corner is either going to have to go up and down or side to side. And I think that what we're going to do is do them side to side, but I'm not sure if that's really the best. It, you know, kind of depends on what the designer wants. And so there's a set of 4 for the first window. Now I just need a set of 4 for the second window. So when I'm using the glass cutter for multiple cuts, that's one of the, I guess I'd call it a technique, or maybe it's just an obsession that I have, that I try to never move the T-square cutters when I'm in the middle of a project. And so that's why I like to have at least 3. You know, because this one's set for my width, this one's set for my height, for the edges, and all of these are the same height. And then this one's the one that I just move in and out. Over on this, over here, the design had a split, because this glass only comes 24 inches wide, and so I had to split it in the middle, both for strength and for the ability to be able to cut the piece. And so, you know, I've got 2 of them, and because they're the same length on each side, the scrap was also the same length, so I just ended up cutting those. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting the rest of these, and then we'll come back later so I can show you how I do the Arctic glass and also cut for the bevels. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this series of advanced techniques. There's 3 different videos and they all tie together. Do us a favor, comment about your feelings about the videos. How did you engage with them? Were they worthwhile? And also subscribe to our channel so that, you know, we can stay in touch and let you know what other videos that we put up. Thanks for joining us.